No beekeeper within the UK can charge 75 pence for a jar of proper honey with the labour that goes into it. So this idea that we can kind of, this race to the bottom with honey and still call the end product honey, it's outrageous. My own personal reason for starting Dan and the Bees, my company, was to really combat that, amongst other things, because it's painful to walk into a supermarket and see the options that the consumer has. And it's something that hopefully this new generation of beekeepers, which I regard myself as one of them, will change that. That is something that is on our list of things to change, and it will change. I've lost a few colonies before. Each one of them starts with a process of more often than not, it's the beekeeper's fault. There are times when it's not, it can be other factors involved, but at least for me, especially when I was younger, I lost a few colonies, just part of the learning process. It's painful because you realise or you feel as though you failed as a beekeeper. And especially when you're dealing with not just kind of a couple of beings, but you're dealing with, a colony of maybe 50,000, 60,000 live beings. It's really tough to take, and I think that you should take it personally, because if you don't, then I don't think you're really learning the right way for the bees and their own kind of what they need to survive, and what you need to be the best beekeeper that you can for the bees that you have. So it is rough, but it's necessary to feel rough. We're very lucky in this country, in the UK, to really have a climate which is very well suited to living between the extremes. So it's never really too cold, it's never really too hot. What you would tend to find is a lot of the strains of bee that we have here that are very well suited to those temperate climates would pretty much immediately suffer. In one form or another. I think it's difficult to tell exactly how they'd suffer. It might be perhaps a lack of foraging capacity. It might be even as severe as, for example, in the summertime you just go into a hive and there is absolutely no activity. It's dead due to the heat. And it's something that I've seen before. I've heard other beekeepers talk about that in extreme heat. And I think that if that were applied, if we had heat waves of the sort that we've been experiencing in the last few years, but they became the norm, I really do think that a lot of beekeepers, and especially bee colonies, would really, really suffer. And it would probably be fatal for them.